Oh, hey, you. Hey, you really should take time alone. You should take time to yourself. You should take time to yourself. Learn to take time alone. That's the title of this video. Learn to take time alone is one of the most valuable things I really feel like I'm about to talk about. Learning to take time alone, guys, educates you on what it's like to be around people. You, as a human being, are around other human beings. There's something that you cannot explain when you are by yourself that changes when you are with somebody else. And the results are beautiful, actually, because what is really happening is you are showing up for yourself the way that you would have shown up for yourself around people before you get there. Learning to take time alone educates you on the kind of person that you want to be whenever you think you're away from people and when you think you're close to them as well. Learn though. Learning to take time alone is way more important than taking time alone. It's not something that you need to be forced to do. It's not something that you need to strain against to do. If you're not taking time alone and being educated through it, you're not taking time alone. When you're taking time alone, you're not struggling to find a space away from people. When you're taking time alone, you're not fighting anybody to make space for yourself. When you're taking time alone, what you're doing is learning who you are in spaces when you think you have the space to speak up for yourself. That's what taking time alone really means, and learning to take time alone. You find the words in the silence of your essence that breathes, and you open it up. You allow it to blossom into the form of the person that you are in scenarios with people around as if it was a totally natural thing, and it is. You learning to take time alone is exactly what makes it natural. You'll get people who might ask you, how did you do that? What do you do? Learning to take time alone is what I would suggest they do. It's not something that people can look at you and ask you and then tell you. It's something that is very visible and on the surface. I think we know, actually, we know, this isn't a thing that I think, we know that when we are in places, we know that those places have memories, knowledge, information that inform us on what we think we are as a human being. So even when we're alone, we are imagining scenarios and peoples and emotions and feelings and thoughts and habits and behaviors that allow us to persist in the idea of ourselves as if we were alone, and it slowly forms itself and our environment. It slowly changes it, very, very slowly. And I'm not talking about daily, I'm talking about moment by moment. This is what it does. And it is a very helpful thing, not just to know that things change slowly, but that when you're alone, it's the same. You get the result that you need. Sorry for the noise in the background, but you get the result that you're looking for, because it's about who you think you are alone and being alone, learning that. Taking the time alone, right? Taking too is also a part of learning, because you're not just taking the time alone and you're not just learning yourself, but you're also understanding how to compartmentalize the amount of information you're willing to receive in certain moments. Willing to receive. When you take time alone, you start to develop an understanding of what it means to have yourself to yourself. It's incredible. And it works. And it works. Like I said, it's moment by moment. So when you start to look at it like a daily practice, like a habit that you build up, the divisions in the walls and limits that you once believed were there disappear, because being educated is the pickaxe, not the fist, not the war, not the fight. When you learn to take time alone, all of that stuff disappears. Because what's the point in thinking about a battle alone? You know that you have a team. You know that you have a mission, an objective, and an operation. All of these things help support you, guide you in the completion of your mission. Did you think that whether you were a victor or were defeated, that you were going to lose alone? Think again. It's impossible to win or lose alone. It never happens. It never happens. The only thing you do when you refuse to take time alone and learn is find yourself in a soup of emotions that have yet to consolidate victory and or defeat. Conversely, when you do, however, everything works. Everything changes. Time is the element that you take as though it were a fruit, and learning the taste of time, learning the smell of time, learning the awareness, the workings, the growth, the process, the germination of time, as though it were a fruit and you were eating it and taking it slowly and savoring it and allowing the flavor to process in your body. Learning to take time alone. You really should learn to take time alone. The world is the example, your example. People are your example. They only prove to you the thoughts that you have. Learning to take time alone is its own proof. Learning to take time alone is its own show. It's its own background. It's its own foreground. It's its own camera. It's its own lens. It is its own perspective. You align with that. You align with you. Because in a way, you become time. But it's through learning yourself through time. That's what's happening here. You take the agency back. It's no longer a clock on the wall. Now, I describe this in the book, You Are You. I talk about what time is. I talk about how time is the moments that you spend from one moment to the next, 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 and it continues. Because it's being constrained by numbers will make you feel like you have to catch it up, that you have to make it up, as if something was passing and there was a responsibility from 1:30 to 2. Learn to take time alone. Time isn't a number. Also, at the very same time, when you're learning to take time alone, you learn who doesn't. You learn who don't do these things. You learn a difference in education, in tool, in application, in function, that does its own work to keep you in line, to keep you guided, to keep you supported, to keep you safe. There's nobody who can come and try to pick out the education that is quite literally growing from within. Learning to take time alone is its own defense.